Chef Champy's whoopie pies in my stepdad's fridge when I was visiting my mom. And, he's like an excellent barometer of chocolate. So there were only 2 left out of, I think, 12 when I went to check after 24 hours. So, yeah, go find yourself some. There's a bunch of people who do whoopie pies at the Riverhead Farmers Market. I'll be back there in a week or so here to do another live stream. You gonna come with me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, sweet. I made friends with your mom this morning on the Face Space.
Yeah, actually, that was me who added you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want her to watch the show.
Oh, cool. All right. Hey, so hi, live stream on YouTube. We're going to figure this out. Gail, Baranello. So before we get started, let's talk just strictly A&G Dance Company. You and your husband.
Mm-hmm.
And he DJs. And you teach like the Munchkins how to dance?
Sort of. So it's funny that sometimes people call Adam a rapper. And,
okay.
But that is not what he is at all. Actually, it's just really funny that you said that. It made me laugh. We actually met in a dance company in college. So he's actually a trained dancer, but he's also a musician and a visual artist. And he does do all of our music for our repertoire. So. What you are seeing when you come to a live show is he does all of his music electronically. So what you are seeing is like a DJ setup, because we actually have a mannequin, DJ Manny, that we shuttle around with us, and we set him up with his headphones and his laptop. And
well, I'm going to set you up with your headphones here because we're about to go on the air here.
We're dancing here.
We are dancing to the theme music here. If you don't know, it's On Fire by JJ Gray and Mofro. I am here with Gail Baranello from A&G Dance Company, and we're here to talk about what is an unbelievably important topic, which is loss and grieving loss in a healthy way, dealing with loss. And let it be said this for anybody who has lost anything. It's for anybody. If you've lost a friend, a family member, a pet, a job, a part of your identity, Artful Home Care, that's who you're doing this for. There's going to be a 5-week workshop at Stony Brook, Southampton. What are the dates on that, Gail?
March 22nd through April 19th.
Okay, and Friday. Spaces are limited. So how many spaces are left for this?
I'm taking up to 16. I don't currently know how many are registered. It is a free program. So even if we do get a lot of registration, don't be afraid to put yourself on a waiting list, because a lot of times when things are free to the public, people don't show up.
Right.
So we're,
that's so
register.
Strange.
Mm-hmm.
You should go.
Yeah, you should go.
You should definitely go.
It's not always going to be free. This is a very special opportunity because I'm being sponsored by Artful Home Care.
Right.
And we really felt that it was important to get it out there to the community at no cost.
And a little shout out to Beth McNeil, Mies, who I met, and this is how I found out about this opportunity. What an awesome, she seems pretty awesome, by the way, for my 5-second assessment. But this is such a great idea. Now, this is a 5-week series. Do you focus on one stage of grief each week?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of how it started, the idea of it being 5 weeks, because I decided to do the 5 stages of grieving based on the Kubler-Ross model.
So is this the denial, bargaining,
correct.
Anger,
depression,
and acceptance?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how people are going to be dealing with loss each week, and how A&G fits in.
Well, I am a professional dancer. I've been dancing my entire life, and I just feel like dance has given me such an outlet for dealing with all kinds of emotional traumas and just any kind of emotional situation. I feel like I've had this sort of advantage over other people in my life because I've always had dance to turn to. And I actually did my undergraduate work in psychology and dance at Stony Brook Center of Somatic Movement. And that's where I had a lot of my inspiration from.
Okay.
So I started my company with Adam 15 years ago now. So we've been doing a lot of performance and choreography and dance education. And I've just been like really, really wanting to get back into this whole idea of helping people heal with using dance as a tool.
I mean, I hate to get kind of Hollywood TV about it, but if any of you guys have ever seen Grey's Anatomy, who's the main character?
I'm not familiar with
well,
a lot
okay,
of television.
so neither am I. Neither am I. This was like if I get caught by a show, you know, someone's like, watch this, and I watch all of it. So
I'm terrible with pop culture.
Oh yeah, me too. But so that's why I'm trying. And I've seen every season of this. Meredith Grey is
that sounds familiar.
She's terrible with dealing with her emotions and traumas in her life. And she and her best friend have these 5-second dance parties.
Aw.
So when they're getting really stressed and whatever, they dance it out. And how important is this to deal in any way?
Well, I mean, dancing in itself is a good release for stress and things like that. But what's really interesting and unique about my program is we're connecting vocabulary words to movement. So the whole idea of moving in a somatic way is you're connecting an intention to your movement.
Okay.
So that's where the 5 stages come in. So we're going to be dealing, like, let's say on your first visit, we're going to be dealing with the topic of denial. So everyone actually gets a workbook that I designed. I wrote. It took me about a year to put together. My husband did the illustrations.
How cool are you guys?
So everyone's going to get one of these at no cost for this first launch of the program. He did a great job on the illustrations.
He's
They're
so
amazing.
cool.
They're very childlike, I like to say, because I think
Yes.
I just love the idea of getting lost in the pictures, and, you know, art can really change the world. And Beth and I from Artful Home Care really connected on that, like enriching the lives of people through art.
Which I'm sure partially. Well, I mean, I don't know Beth's art background. I'm sure she has one, but her husband Jeff Meese, unbelievable artist. Now talk about power couples. All 4 of the 2 of you couples are unbelievable. This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Self-soothing.
Yeah, there is a big section on self-soothing. I do feel it's important. The whole idea of this workshop is connecting with others. It's a group workshop, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, learning some skills to self-soothe. I did a lot of interviewing with people before I wrote the whole thing. I wanted to get like personal stories and personal perspectives from people. And a lot of people told me that there were times where they didn't have anybody to connect with, or maybe they were in the bargaining stage and they started to, you know, when you're in that stage, sometimes you think a little wildly and like, if I only could have done this, maybe that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
And you start to kind of lose touch with people. Sometimes people don't understand what's wrong with her? Is she ever going to snap out of this? And, you know, all these strange things happen. And if you ever find yourself alone in that way, or maybe you're just geographically separated from somebody that you really feel that you can trust and talk to, and you need to be alone, and you need to be able to soothe yourself to sleep, because sleeping is important. You have to get your rest.
Gotta get your rest. Absolutely. So that's a really important topic. Now, number one, no matter what you're going through, what you're dealing with, a support system is paramount. And being able to and finding the strength to reach out is just so important. But the double side, or the other side of the coin, or, you know, it can be a double-edged sword, which is that if you get stuck in thinking, I'm having a hard time and I need to reach out and whatnot, that can become a crutch. And so it is alternatively of paramount importance to learn how to rely on yourself. And
what you're saying is absolutely correct. And through this workshop and through the group,
you can find acceptance.
Through the group works. My topic is I really, really, if anything, I want people to leave at the end of the 5 weeks just feeling a little bit more self-aware. Because through self-awareness, you'll be able to cope a little bit better alone. And then you'll also be able to have healthier relationships with others. Because I do also get into a little bit, it's not the heaviest thing, you know, I don't want to get too deep. I'm not like a bereavement counselor or anything like that. But there is a difference between interdependent relationships and codependent relationships. And
And so you touch on that.
I do. Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And that is such an important thing to recognize. So how did you decide to do this? How did you?
Well, you know,
how did this happen? How did this happen? This is like,
I'm gonna just briefly go to my past. I don't want to get too much into it,
no
but
worries.
I don't want to be a therapist, and I don't want anyone to think I am a therapist. I actually dropped out of therapy school.
But that's so therefore there's a seed there.
Yes, I did get my undergraduate degree in psychology with a minor in dance. The whole point of that was to go get my master's in dance therapy, which I ended up getting into the program at Pratt Institute, but I ended up not going through with it because I really wanted to pursue my company, which I did, and I have no regrets. But now I just want to use dance as a tool to help people heal, and I don't. That's it. I don't.
And that goes back, you know, through the ages. Just about every culture has had some element of a dance healing. I mean, talk about the Native Americans. You know, they definitely do that. I mean, so that's such an interesting mix of education. You know, have you had programs? I'm sure you have many over the years.
I've never done anything this specific. This is actually the first time I'm doing this.
Okay.
I've done like little pieces. I've never done a full like 5-week session. So this is actually going to be very interesting for me too. I'm going to be doing a lot of assessments. Beth from Artful Home Care is interested in taking, you know, little surveys from people and stuff. So at the end we could see how it went and how people actually felt at the end. Yeah.
Good morning, Maggie. And I'm saying good morning, everyone. Good morning, Steve Lemansky. He is going to be up here soon. He's the Grand Marshal, I believe, of the Hampton Bays St. Patrick's Day Parade.
We did that last year. Thank you. It was awesome. Yeah, we had our little dancers with us. It was so cute. Yeah.
Are you going to do it again this year?
I'm undecided, not because I didn't have a great experience, but we're always struggling getting like a crew of kids, and a lot of them are now older and they're all in band and they have to be in their band part of the parade.
So how will you get the next generation of
That's the thing. I'm
dancers?
sort of in like a in between
limbo
stage right now because we have a lot of littles, and then a lot of our older kids they're like middle school, high school now, and like.
So who are you looking for? How can we get you some new
for the parade?
Or yeah.
If you want to be in the parade with us,
how can they contact you?
You can just email me agdanceco@yahoo or get in touch with me on Instagram or Facebook.
All right, and that's A&G Dance Company, Gail Baranello. We're going to take a break on the air. We'll continue live on the Gianna Volpe Facebook page. We're here, Gianna Volpe on 1390 WRIV, your hometown station. Awesome. That was fun.
Yeah.
So this is so cool.
Thanks. I appreciate the enthusiastic response.
How long will each session be?
You know.
1.5 hours.
That's what I'm hoping for, because I don't want to keep people there all night. But I'm telling you, when I do things like this, people want to stay. I mean, I feel like this could go on for 3 hours a night.
Okay.
But I'm trying. My job as a leader is to streamline it and keep it moving. Keep it moving. So
will you let me know when
that's my challenge.
Steve comes in?
Yeah, Mila's here.
Who is it?
Mila.
Mila from Mila's Puffs?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's have her come in then, because I think I've got Steve up next. So follow A&G Dance Company on Facebook. How can people sign up for the...
You can sign up through artfulhomecare.net. Or you can call them. I don't know their number offhand, but they're all over social media.
I'll add it to the I'll put it in the description. Blah, 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 links. Gail, I'm so glad you came up.
Yeah.
I gotta show everyone your mug. So cute. So cute. Thank you so much for coming in. Come on in. Hello. So
Sorry
you've
about
got a no, it's okay.
Yes.
You've got a Lulu knit.
Yes, she made it for me.
I'm gonna switch everyone
Okay.
out
Okay.
and let me know if there's anything that I can add.
Okay.
to
Got
the
it.
Social.
Thank you.
You're
That was so
welcome.
fun.
Okay, good.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you,
I'm
Mila?
Gail.
Nice to meet you.
Take
Thank you so
take
much
a seat.
for
No
having
worries.
me. Oh my gosh,
I
I'm
thought-
so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm
I thought
like-
I had you for another date because I looked on I didn't see anybody for the spot.
Oh, it's on my calendar because Lucy,
Yes.
she coordinates the farmers
Right.
market, and she gave me the day.
Right.
She like email everyone and
With
she
the-
gave me
with the-
28
Okay.
for the.
Cool. Doreen
Emma.
says, nice idea. Dance is therapy like all music and arts.
Oh,
So I know we may not have much because I've got to get Steve on when we
Oh.
go on the air.
So we can just,
But little
just a little info would be great.
Mila's Cheese Puffs, I will come and see you
Absolutely.
in March. So go see Mila every Saturday, 10 to 2 at the Riverhead Farmers Market, right next to Green Earth Apothecary.
Yes,
Which
correct.
we've got Steve Siegelwaks here. So a Brazilian delicacy for nearly 200 years.
Exactly.
So, and where do you live?
East Quag.
East Quag.
Yes,
We love
and my
East Quag.
facility also is there, so you can come to me and buy from me, or also you can purchase at the Village Prime Meats, if I may say that.
Wait,
And
where is it?
Village Prime Meats in
Okay,
East Quag,
in
Main
East Quag,
Street.
okay.
Yes, and also it's available at Wolfer's Vineyard.
Oh, great!
It's if you go there and have a wine, it's on their menu.
Awesome.
So, because a lot of people they don't have like any other option in terms of gluten free.
Right.
And my bread is just fabulous with everything. If you're not vegetarian, you can they like make mini sliders, and you can put like cold cut like sopressata, prosciutto, and some.
I can't wait.
It's
to try
delicious,
them.
and also my avocado pesto. I made.
You have it. Do you have it at the market?
Yes, absolutely. It's a big seller as well. And it's vegan friendly because there's no cheese on the avocado pesto.
Okay, got it.
And it's nutritious.
May I keep this?
Of course.
Oh,
that's for
great.
you.
So I will see you at the market in March.
Absolutely.
Guys, check out. I'll add. Do you do social media?
Yes, I do.
All right, so I'll tag you.
You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and
Is
also
it at
Facebook.
Mila's Puffs?
At Mila's Puffs.
Awesome.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome so much. And I will see you. I'll come and stop by and we'll
Yes,
feature
for
you
free
on
samples because I'm giving free samples like every 15
She
minutes.
She said the magic word.
Magic word, free samples. Thank you so
you're
much.
welcome so much.
And
And,
I see you at the market.
And I think I might have. Would you be interested to come back if I have another spot?
Of course.
Okay.
Anytime. Just
So
can you like you can
I will.
call me.
Yes,
Be
I'll
in touch with
contact
me.
you. I'll contact you, or I'll have Dev contact you, and we'll set up a full spot.
Excellent.
All
Thank you. I
right.
appreciate it.
You're
you have
welcome.
a great day. Thanks for
All
your
right, so let's get let me get Steve. Hi, Steve, come on in.
That was bad.
Busy morning.
I know. Surprise, surprise.
So much for your help.
How you doing, my dear?
I am so well. Better now and happy to have you. Come on
Did you get the
in.
morning snow?
Yes, I was like healthy dusting of snow this morning. So nice to have you.
Thank you for having me.
That was awesome. So Mila's Cheese Puffs. You gotta go next door. They're at the market.
Are they any good?
I'm gonna find out. I bet I'll bet you they are. I have not had anything at the
Everything
market.
homemade,
Right.
you automatically gonna get some nice value out of it. Some
Yeah.
love into it.
So take a seat here because we're live on the air, and I want people to see you. Did you choose the Three Stooges cup?
No.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's somebody else.
Serendipity?
Oh, maybe it's
No, that's my cup.
Mila. Oh, it is your cup.
My coffee.
Okay, good. That's what I was saying. Did you choose that?
No, she had
It was chosen for you.
Yes.
Oh, so
I
you're
had to
just
leave
lucky
the
then.
beaver poster out there.
You're just lucky then. Damn, I miss Gail. Cheryl, you can always rewatch once we go live again. So, Steve, you got to just come as close as you can to me. It's it can get a little uncomfortable, but that's all right. We're here to do it. So,
Yeah, I won't.
Steve Siegelwaks. Now, just to start here, you're a botanist,
Yes.
and you've owned the Green Earth. It's now Green Earth Apothecary for how long?
Really about 5 years or so.
Okay, so
Made
you
the
owned it for
transition
5.
from a natural food market, retail, classic retail format to something a bit more classically plant-based and solution-oriented.
So is it your father that was running it before you?
No.
So-
But we were in business for many, many years. He was my mentor
Okay.
and master merchant.
Okay,
And
so
he taught me about the business.
hold on. All right. So how
business.
long has Green Earth been open?
1980.
Since 1980.
In one form or other.
In one form or another.
Green Earth Grocery first, then Green Earth Natural Food Market.
So who was running it in 1980? Your father.
Me.
You are.
Right.
You were.
Right. My former wife at the time.
Okay.
And the third owners the second owners were our partners for a short time.
So before 1980?
There was another
Natural food market
there was it was in existence with the founder. I think her name was Sheila, and she sold it to a young couple.
Okay.
Lori and Charlie Marcus. They had a couple of kids. They retired in the retail. They had a young family, and they were looking to share it in the form of a partnership.
Okay.
Didn't work out so well, and my former wife, Linda, at the time, bought into it, and we eventually bought them out of it. And since 1990, we've made a run of it.
Okay, since 1990.
Yes.
Okay.
For me.
Got it.
This is my watch.
Got it. Which is great. I don't know if any of you have been by. I've been in a number of times over the years, all for different things. That's what I love about the market is there's so many different reasons to go to Green Earth. You know, and let's just talk about like the millennials and the Pinterest and whatever. The millennials love crystals. Do you have
Who
a lot?
doesn't?
Do a lot of people? Are there a lot of young people that come in to buy the crystals? Have you been noticing this trend?
Young and old.
Young and old.
Crystals are they play to that ancient, earth-based alchemical spark that every living creature has. Because they were here before we are. They're alive. They have a mystique. They have a healing component, and a majesty.
You know, and it's interesting because, you know, like you're saying, they're alive, and I remember you were talking about things that choose you, that talk to you.
Yes.
So
They each have a voice. Old school.
What
undeniable. I turn that key, I come in, and it's like the crystal vault. And you have to experience it once or twice, and nobody can debate that with you.
Yeah. So are different people drawn to different?
As with every school, as with every living creature, each has and finds their own appeal.
Well, and everyone's coming in for a different reason.
Everybody hugs a tree for a different reason. How many reasons do you need?
Yeah, right. So listen, people come in, and they're coming in. I'm having trouble sleeping. Maybe you give them melatonin, or I'm having anxiety.
You have to be careful not to prescribe.
Right.
AMA, Big Pharma, they don't take you kindly to that. The insurance lobby, even less. You have to be very careful how you say things, and I've tried this, and this is a historical reference.
That's how you know it went well.
I try to play a supportive role. I do my homework very thoroughly. I'm a very, very good researcher. I've done some experimentation. I've done a lot of traveling.
Where's some of your favorite places to go in the world?
Any place, if you have time,
right?
If you're relaxed. If you're not going there as a vacation, if you're going there to really learn
Every place has something
Go
something
there,
to teach you.
dodge your clothing.
Have you ever been to Tibet?
I have not. But I'm scheduled to go there in May.
This May?
Yes.
Are you kidding?
No.
You're going to Tibet in May.
If I can afford it, I have the lodging. I have a friend living there in Kathmandu, and a buddy who has family there part of the year. The invites are just magically happening.
Really?
I wanted to go sometime. I recently lost both parents.
That's so serendipitous
So
that I would
might
even
be
ask
nice.
you that.
Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah,
to
but
Italy
I
in
never,
May.
lovely.
In May?
I have been hesitant to travel to Kathmandu for some time. I thought that if I went there, that I might not really come home.
So you wouldn't come home?
At least for now, I think I can stave that off a little bit.
Well, you know what? It might not be the worst thing. It might not be the worst thing, to end up in Tibet. I remember. No, I don't think it was Tibet.
It's not Shangri-La, but it just sort of suits me in some ways. It's not Manhattan.
I wanted to ask you about spirulina.
Yes.
Because
one of the greats.
Paula DiDonato, who runs the giving room in Southold,
yes,
she posted something that said that she's stopped for about a year now. She stopped putting the spirulina in her smoothies and whatnot, and her juices. So I wanted to see if you knew about this.
Spirulina is funky. It has a number of sister compounds and complexes. Chlorella, barley grass juice powder, wheatgrass juice powder, kelp range. Then the spirulina. Spirulina has always been the most sensitive of them. It's also the least flavorful. It'll render your blood sugar balance tremendously subject to a dip for a short moment.
Huh.
So if you're not aware of that prospect, it's going to catch you off guard. You'll be driving and all of a sudden you'll just be dozing, or you'll be nauseous. Or it's just a very, very, of all of them, it's the most gripping and
interesting.
It's wonderful. It's CLG. It's just a wonderful component. It's very fishy. It has to be mixed in beautifully and homogenized with care and with working knowledge. Otherwise, you're going to pick up on that olfactorily and in other ways. But it can definitely cause the blood sugar to go into a state of imbalance for a short while. For that reason, I use it very sparingly because the audience has so many sensitivities and there's so many other options that you can play that why risk it?
Okay.
Not to say that it's not fantastic.
So it's a fantastic compound, but it's kind of like it's a level expert's ingredient.
I would say so.
All right.
So for that reason,
so
do no harm.
So spirulina. I don't know much.
It's a cautionary note.
Yeah. And make sure that the person that you're dealing with knows what they're dealing with.
Yeah, you don't want them pushing you off and going on a 5-hour trip down to Virginia.
Right.
While it's in the system and it could be having an effect on you.
So let's talk about your botany background.
Yes.
About where you learned.
It's always been there.
Okay.
To that, I would have to say I was born to it.
Okay.
That's always been there.
Did you get your degree?
I was at Rochester Institute for the Photographic Arts and Naturalistic
Photography. Okay.
And as I'm in the field, up to my neck, I had an epiphany, in the bogs and in the.
But you never got your degree in botany.
That has been a lifelong.
It's just your lifelong love. Okay.
40-year.
I just want to make sure that I let them know because, as it with, if you call someone an architect and they don't have
that's fine.
So you are a botanist by heart, not by.
By love and by craft.
All right, yes. And not to poo-poo it because that doesn't. Hard work trumps talent and trumps piece of paper in my heart and my mind. But I'm glad that we've got that. I
would say that ethnobotanist would be the more
ethnobotanist
expressive term. In other words, how do rare substances affect the psychology, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual aspects of the body. It's a bit more diverse than simply the mechanistic biologics of a plant in a broader sense. Other cultures have different viewpoints of plant pathology, of plant restoration, and they simply look at the body differently as well. There are many different systems.
So what do you mean? Let's talk about some specifics. So some different places and how they view it differently than America would.
Every place views the botanical sciences differently than the United States.
Right. I just want to get some.
We are the most. We are the most.
We gotta go back on the air. So we'll talk a little bit about into the microphone, this close, and
really?
put your head a little bit to the side so you don't pop your peas.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. Yeah, we almost heard Steve Hall.
Yes.
All right, so come close. So Steve has been running the Green Earth Apothecary for many years now, and they are right next door to the Riverhead Farmers Market, which is every Saturday 10 to 2. But and how has that been, being next door to the market?
Oh, it's been charming.
Have you had some cross traffic?
How can you not? You know, it's such a pool of talent that comes there. It's been in town all these years. I wondered why they put themselves in the past so far from their one key supportive agent, and that was always me. Always their greatest cheerleader. Always sending folks to them. It's nice to have them in my own.
In your realm.
Yes, and we play to each other beautifully.
And and
so much talent.
I noticed. You used to be the Green Earth Natural Food Market.
Yes.
Why the change to apothecary?
It felt more to home. The world is changing. The Costco's and the BJ's and the Peapods and the internet. There was a lot of the big supermarkets closing up in town. King Cullen and Woolbaum's and
big box stores are closing down all over the place.
They're struggling, and if even they can't make it.
Well, I think that really they'll be the first to go because of the high overhead.
And they work so close.
You know,
they're working on 1% gross profit margin. And with the cost of utilities here on Long Island being what it is, with compressors and condenser units and such.
Bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Right, the heat, the cool. If you're not watching those numbers, you will succumb. So to protect myself, I began to modify and look into other ways that I could take best use of my gifts and bring them forward. And for those things that I don't do quite as well, or feel that there's so many others that do it either better or have deeper pockets, I've learned to be real about it, you know? And look, if you're going to work 100 hours a week, and sometimes it happens that way, why not put your heart into it?
Yes.
And do what you really go out after it. And it's not now when, as Cardinal Newman said.
Love it.
Do it right. And you have just so many options. And sing your song, for as long as you can. So
So that's what you've been doing.
I sat myself in front of the wall for a few years, and I said, you know what? What would you really love to do? Pick and choose from this venue those things that you can really sink your teeth into, and do it right.
So what have you chosen? What are some of the things you chose?
It's the botanical field, to do it right, to purchase the very, very best of certified organic bulk herbs at a price that's fair and get the best value and the best quality.
So certified organic, high quality herbs from around the world.
There's an old adage, yes. If you're going to state my case, don't lose it for me.
Yes.
So when people come in and they're out of time, they're out of money, they're being chopped up, and they're nervous and they're dying or hurting, running out of independence, to give them options, real options that I know for a fact can help. And then I simply do my very best to bring their attention to what may in some parts of the world be considered a lost art, or an art that is, if we don't bring it forward and freshen it, could lose its way in the school of Fahrenheit 451. And
Ray Bradbury, my fave.
Yes.
That's my favorite
if
dystopian
you're not,
novel.
and the Orwellian viewpoint, he who writes the
1984.
who writes the past, or he who writes the present, or controls the present, controls the past, controls the future, who controls the lexicon. You have to be careful who is at the wheel. You're going to trust it to today's big insurance companies and big pharma. Well, good luck to you.
Wow.
Because they would love to see you forget.
And I was going to say,
the
it's funny.
wellspring that is the historical reference.
What I was going to say to you is that you seem to me the real deal. And what I mean by that is you are a person who really cares about doing the due diligence and about serving the customer. And I don't mean like the customer as this, the mass. It's this customer or that customer, or
person is a
Bob
person.
and Mary and Jane.
Each person has a story.
Right.
And sometimes it's not about the herb or herbs or food. Sometimes it's just listening to people.
Doreen Rose is watching, and she's saying, if not now, when? And she's saying she wants to come and visit you. She wants me to come with her this weekend.
You're always welcome.
So we'll come. We'll be there this weekend, me and Doreen.
You're always welcome.
Excellent.
We're open 7 days a week. I put in as long a day as I can, 7, 8 p.m., sometimes it's later. If it's inclement weather, I go home early like everybody else.
Right.
You do what you can, and you come back strong the next day.
That's right. So now, me and Steve met through Andrew Wargo, who is a mutual friend of ours.
Yes.
How great is Andrew? I just wanted to talk about him for a second.
He's a force of nature.
He is a force of nature. If you've ever met this guy, he's a character. You will not forget this man. You will not forget
And sometimes,
this man.
if you're quiet, he'll tell a good joke.
Yes. No, you don't have to be quiet. He will tell a joke or two. He'll tell you, and one will be about a parrot. That's all I can tell you. That's all I'll say. And they're usually, a little, a little mature.
Yes, a little burlesque.
So I wanted to ask you about. I know this is something that I've mentioned. Wheatgrass shots.
Wheatgrass shots plays.
They don't taste the greatest.
Not to my palate.
But so what? Why is this a thing? This is something that I've seen people.
This is of the Dr. Ann Wigmore of Lithuania fame. Sprouted grains. Be Your Own Doctor, a book that she wrote, small little green book, now out of print. Be Your Own Doctor.
Changed your life?
Yes, changed my life. I think it was maybe 50 pages.
It's little.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good stocking stuffer.
Something like this. And survival into the 21st century. She and Victoria Kolbinskas. She was a legend. Hippocrates Health Institute now goes by other names around the country. Hardcore, raw food, living foods. She was proving the point that do less harm to yourself and maximum living vibrancy will save the day every time. She proved her point. Not an easy woman to live with, but she was tough as nails, and she was brilliant. Wheatgrass
those are like all of the. You checked off all the boxes of things I like in a person.
She worked with prisons. She worked with school lunch programs because that's where institutionalized events were, and you could track it, and you could see the contrast. You lock somebody up, well, they're behind the gated community, so you could monitor them and monitor their way, and it was there, and in the public field. She was welcomed with a red carpet in India, and they kept on saying, "But why do you go back to the States when they ridicule you? They make it so difficult for you to function." She'd say, "Child, because that's where they need me."
Yes, that's what I was thinking in my head.
And she proved she knew that we were the worst we were sold on fast food.
So she leaned in because she knew that's where the need was.
Yes, and she was stubborn enough. It didn't phase her one iota because she was just
Good for her.
like iron.
Love it. Be your own doctor. I got to get this book. So now how did it change your life?
Well, she simply said, if you're going to go to somebody and you don't know what's wrong with you, you go to a surgeon, they're going to do surgical things at you, unless they really care enough to say, you know what, I don't really have anything that can help you today. Why don't you go to somebody else that I went to school with who can help you further? That's a mensch. That's somebody who's a real healer,
Yeah.
who knows the limits,
Yes.
and not so hungry.
I think that's so important. Knowing your limits.
You know, and
And
to
knowing
do the right
when,
thing
yes,
by the
do
person,
the
simply
right
because
thing.
they have money there, and
I
they
was
will
just
say,
talking.
look, I'm hurting. If they don't need the radiation, if they don't need the chemotherapy or surgery or whatever, send them to somebody who knows.
I was talking about this last night, which another amazing local photographer, Connor Harrigan, I was working at Watercrest Winery. Now I'm a photojournalist and I got my degree at Mizzou, but I don't have the equipment, the time. Like I'm spread myself through different industries, and so I had the guy who produces the Chevy commercials come in. He was interested in me. He wanted, and I saw that moment, and Connor was at the end of the bar, and there was this moment where it's like, I could use this to, negotiate for myself. But I was like, you know what? I'm otherwise engaged. I don't have the equipment, the infrastructure. I don't even have Photoshop on my computer. I know how to use it. I have the degree. I know what it looks like, but I'm not in the practice right now to produce these high level. And so I looked at this guy and I said, you know who you need to be talking to? Connor Harrigan. He's right at the end of the bar.
In a place like you will always find lots of work. But
there's not everyone is like that. Now we're gonna talk about this more, guys. Steve Siegelwaks. Go visit the Green Earth Apothecary. You're next to 54. So what are you? 50? 50 East Main Street, right by the Suffolk Theater there. We're going to continue talking to Steve off the air on the Gianna Volpe Facebook page. And we'll be back next week here on the Gianna Volpe Report on 1390 WRIV, your hometown station. But, so you can take these off. So anyway, not everyone is like that. Some people will, they recognize talent or whatever, and they're afraid of it, or they get ahead by holding other people down, or by taking everything for themselves. So, there's different kinds, and I guess it takes all kinds to make a world.
There's always going to be the aspect of the community that's struggling, either because of stresses or because of tensions. I'm never going to suffer for lack of that font of people who are in step and not such in step and not so in step. So that was never, it's never from a point source of lack that I've worked from. In fact, I've had to take a few moments and try to make an assessment of how much different am I and people like me who still profit from people's ailments. And is that right? Is that allowed? How different am I than the big pharmaceutical industry and the big pharmacies? I see the Walgreens and the CVS's and the Rite Aids opening up, and they're on every street corner.
Yeah,
and they're 24/7.
I think that it's difficult because once you get to that size, that corporate size,
they're like an annuity.
Then it's all about the money. and it's
I think
it's
they've reached a
an
point,
exploitation of,
not to slight them, but
no,
they've
it's
gotten very
it's
used to a certain volume.
right, and it's business. That's why they say that, business is business, friendship is friendship.
We're seeing CBD oil and hemp products coming forward now, and the possible legalization of marijuana in one form or another for medical usages and others. Now, after many years, when Big Pharma and the alcohol community are willing to share more, not that it comes easy to them, but they're recognizing that they can't hold the tide back too much further. And in the wings of that are other agents that are that are suspect, even to me, Kratom and others. Not that they don't have placement, but they were rushed to market, and they were rushed to the market for all the wrong reasons. And as a scientist, I object to replacing one opioid with another that has not really been, within these circles, as tested as they ought to be.
Well, and it's difficult because of the illegality. And that's what I
It's
talked
not
to.
illegal yet,
Well,
but the FDA is making it very. They quarantine.
Well,
most
it's because of the federal, that it's still illegal on the federal level. That's what
the
makes
states
it
are still
difficult.
doing it
That's
out,
what makes it.
but the Fed has made the decision.
That's what's made it so difficult, because it's the prohibition is still in effect on the federal level. It makes it impossible for them or incredibly difficult for them to get the research done. So that until there's a change on the federal level, you're going to continue to see this staggered growth and
Yes.
inconsistent.
And it seems to be that way here in the States. There's always the insurance companies passing judgment on a certain herb or herbs. If they're not happy with something, they don't have to have science on their side.
You know what I think it is? I think it goes back to it's just like anything. All right, let's talk about absinthe, right? The liquor there used to be like an absinthe hour. It used to be the green hour in France, where people would drink absinthe all the time. It was and Giordana, I learned a lot about absinthe from Herbu, from Marquois, from when I was first tending bar. That's when I learned about this. And then I did an article for the Suffolk Times a few years ago. Robbie Beaver was making a drink at the Frisky Oyster. Basically, when I think absinthe had been legalized, or it had been somewhat legalized to come into the States, as long as they don't have the one property in it, or not a significant amount of it. Anyway, absinthe was drunk. Is it drunk?
Yes.
Drunk prolifically, but then the wine industry was like, we don't like this, so they made it. There was propaganda and whatnot that led to absinthe being outlawed, or
and some were villainized. So
yes, villainized.
So just a harsh
when
word
I think
at the
about
right time.
when I think about so when I think about marijuana or hemp or whatnot, because I mean you cannot argue the positive qualities of hemp and how and the ways it can be used, and as a crop, as a product. You could use it for anything. You can make clothes
and everything, and it has historically. The thing of it is that it's not the end all. As wonderful as it is, I'll be the first one to say it is wonderful, and it does have a mystique about it.
And Aristotle would say, everything in moderation,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Right.
There are for every species, for every genus, there is a plethora of restorative agents, curative, healing, that have just a blessed aspect to them. And there are others as well that stand in. There is no one lock on any one category. And on every continent, there's some wonderful solutions. And I find it very compelling.
So let's just name for the people before we go, where are some of the places that you source your herbs from around the world?
Whoever is doing great work.
No, I'm just, do you have like some specifics, like where are some of the places that
I pull from the Mediterranean right there because that and of course the equator, because they have the longest growing seasons. Preferably in places that don't use a lot of chemicals, synthetic chemicals. So it could be Europe, it can be Asia, but good, clean parts of Asia. Right now, China's not my best choice because they're cutting some corners generally, and they've been
But that goes back to, again, when I'm thinking of when I start thinking of business, you think of the size, and so I'm thinking that's almost like a corporate level. So you're thinking they're looking for the highest.
Well, pretty much anywhere in the Caribbean, parts of Africa, still growing beautifully. Usually some very remote areas that don't have the pressures that we do here in the States. Generally, all things equal, a little bit better sourced, cleaner, more decent. They love the herbs with lavender from Provence. You're just not going to find a cleaner product. You're not going to find a better grade of kava or valerian root or chamomile than some key places where they're grown and are just the best of.
Man, if you're getting your herbs, and I know you're my sponsor, but this is not why I'm saying it. I'm saying this.
One works, and the other works better.
Yeah. You are the real deal. So if you're getting your herbs, go to Green Earth Apothecary because
he's getting myself because it's and the thing of it is that you're not married to them. You work with them for a while, and as you are resolving issues, and this is a compelling argument for me, that as you're working with them, they're restoring you.
Tell me, with the herbs.
Yes, so which means that as you work with them, you're using less and less and less of them over time. So you can put them off to the side, put them back into your apothecary, your workshop, and use them when you need them. And
how important is that?
It means the difference between something that is a lifelong venture, and there are dangers with that. There are lifelong saturation points, versus something that as you get involved with it, you're monitoring yourself. You're either hopefully coming away from other meds that are doing something in parallel, and or simply working with a compound that may be of a medicinal class versus a tonic category, whereby you would not want to remain on them for very long simply because you don't need to. You'd be wasting your time and your money, and in point of fact, working against yourself as the timeline goes on.
Oh, so Diane Tucci is saying, support your downtown businesses now. We have such gems, just like Steve Siegelwaks from Green Earth Apothecary. Steve, thank you so much for coming up this morning. And I will see you this weekend. Oh, if not this weekend, next, but I think this weekend.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next week. I was going to go out into the green room and say goodbye to everyone. I guess that's what I'll do right now. Right before we get going here, we will get a nice shot of Bruce getting his caffeine. All right, we're saying goodbye, everyone. Hey, Gabby.
Bye.
All right, so we'll be back next week on 1390 WRB, your hometown station. Oh my God. What a morning.
My God, it's 9 o'clock already.
Right?
Wow.
So,
Great.
So I'm gonna give you the Insta login and let you start building, like start commenting, whatever. Good. Awesome. That way you can actually set up like in the comments. I can be like, you should have the show. Yeah. Scroll, message, like, post stuff.
Thank you so very much.
See?
Pleasure. Thank you. Those are nice.
You're very welcome. And
And I'll pass by in the flash.
yes, I'll see you this weekend.
Okay.
So come on,
Bye.
Deb, come on in for a second.
Here, let's-
Oh, let's end. Sorry, guys. So basically,